All right, we're back again for episode 6. We've already established a title for this episode too. We're gonna call this the Redemption question mark. For
Is there a path to redemption for us? That is the question.
it's multifaceted. The first level of redemption would be the quality of the episode, which
Mhm.
I'm hoping this episode proves to be a redemption from last episode because when I was editing last episode, I had a lot of fears that it was not going to be a very high quality episode. It actually turned out that once it all uploaded and downloaded to like YouTube and Spotify, etc., it actually didn't look as bad as it did kind of in the editing software. So it was slightly better than I expected, but still a little bit rough. So.
I had to leave my computer on and in the website uploading for probably 20 minutes. The Wi-Fi is so bad where I was at. It was terrible. Never again. Never again.
Yeah, I had so many fears that it just was gonna crash out and not upload the rest of your side of the audio and video because it just said 30% or 40%, whatever, and it was never at 100% for me. But when I got on the next day, it looked like everything had uploaded from your end, so I was happy to see that it looked like we were going to have a full episode, regardless of the quality.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how bad it looks, just as long as that you have something to look at, you know?
Exactly. And then the second leg of the redemption might be the golf. Based off of the very short conversations we had about our round, it sounds like I may have had a better round than you did, and I'm very hopeful that I might squeeze a singular point out of today's round.
It was bad, dude.
Really?
It wasn't. It was bad. I can't even say that it was well. Yeah, it was bad. I'm looking at my notes. It was bad. There's nothing to.
So
There's
what
nothing to
about
say.
it? What about it was going bad for you? Was it just nothing was really firing for you, or was it something specific that was costing you a lot of strokes?
The driver was good, but it kept on drawing on me. And normally I have a pretty straight shot. Normally my shot's pretty like
Right.
just a straight kind of laser, which is fine. That's nice. I usually don't have to aim, but the issue is I had to start accounting for my draw. But I think that I would close my face even more or something whenever I'd go to try to account for it.
Gotcha.
And it was kind of like hook drawing. So that was bad. Honestly, the chipping felt real good, but some of the greens were just diabolical on this course, which made it extremely difficult to get the feel for the chips. The putting wasn't terrible, but the chipping and the driver was not great. You know what I mean? That was about it.
Yeah, this course, we played Sweeten Cove Golf Course. I don't really know where it is, or I mean, it was just one that I had found on the simulator, so I don't really know anything about this course, or if it's even a real course, or if it's just one of the ones they have on the simulator. But I will say, when I played this course, that's kind of I kind of strategically had picked it because I know that if there is OB and water, so if you're not hitting your drives pretty straight, then it can definitely get you in trouble with the driver. And then on top of that, the greens are really difficult. And I felt like some of the other courses, I feel like you were hitting really good iron shots, comparatively, on the you can hit big greens better than I could,
Mm-hmm.
was my thing. So I was like, I need to pick something where the greens aren't as easy to hit with good iron shots because I was never really hitting greens as much with the irons, but I could chip on pretty decent most of the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I was losing by a stroke or two. So my kind of theory, and we'll see if it proved out, was that if the greens are a little bit more diabolical, then your iron shots might not quite be able to get you in as good a position as they were on some of the previous courses, and might even the playing field a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what happens because I just know that I mean, if you remember some of our previous rounds, the par threes, I was like hardly ever hitting the greens. Like
Mhm.
approaches on the par fours, I typically had to chip on. I was missing greens a lot, and that was definitely costing me strokes because when the greens were huge, you were able to at least hit on and two putt for par because our gimme range was so big. So my hope was that maybe this would make it a little bit more even. Maybe you would be trying to chip on about the same amount of times as I was. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Actually, yeah, that worked out because I hit every single on the par threes. I hit every single green and rag, but because of the slope and because of the spin, they all spun off the green. Literally, I think I hit every single green, like landed on the green, and then because of the slopes that they have on those greens, it would rip off. I'd be like, I'm like a 9-iron from 140. I'm like, okay, that much spin from a 9-iron. I was like, okay, buddy, sure. But it was a good strategy. It worked. I would say it worked because it
That's
was
cool.
not a great round.
Well, although it would stink that if you had a really bad round after all of your hot streak, I would be very happy to not continue this challenge with 0 points on the board because it was starting to get rather, it didn't really feel like it was much of a challenge if I wasn't gonna score anything, so
Could this
I would be
be? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I would be happy to at least have something to show for after 4 rounds of this
Could
challenge.
could this be a shutout from here on out? Just reverse the script.
And I will say, I did look back, this is the last round of the 1 point, so our next 2 rounds are, valued at 2 points a round.
Oh,
So,
wow.
we're
Okay.
starting to
Gotta
increase the pointages, and I would be very happy to maybe take a little momentum this week, so
fair enough. Fair enough.
with without further ado, I guess we'll just get on into it, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, so I got the scorecard up so I can read the scorecard in yardages for us, and we can kinda just go hole by hole. So, we're playing Sweetens Cove Golf Course. We played the front 9. For the front 9, you start on a par 5. It was at 448 yards. Let me go ahead and read my notes on this one. I talked to you yesterday on the phone, and I told you that my round started off a little kind of, a little uneasy because my simulator here at the apartment was down, it wasn't working, so I had to go to an actual simulator place. The place I went to was absolutely packed, so it's kind of out of my element. Typically, I'm just on my own by myself playing, so I was surrounded by a bunch of people, like, you know how it is kinda when you're in
Mhm.
that public environment, you can almost get a little nervous even though nobody's really paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I started a little uneasy, and then I think I kinda settled in and did better, but for hole 1, I hit an OB driver to the left, reteed, top of the driver about 150 yards. I had an absolute great 5-iron. I hit one of the purest 5-irons. I gotta be honest with you, my 5-irons on the simulators recently have been insane. I'm kind of excited to see how they do on the course, but my 5-iron has just been dialed on the simulator,
Nice.
so I hit a really good 5-iron, 2 bad wedge shots, and then 2 putts for a triple.
That is, I'm not gonna lie. Did you copy my notes?
You're like, "Hold up, wait a minute."
Did you just video? Did you have a video of my round? What is this?
Similar experience for you?
Yes, R5. It was a great drive, but it just, like I said, had that little subtle leak left and went into the hazard. Second driver was like a pipe down the middle. So annoying. Second shot was, or well, I guess it wouldn't be second, but third shot was not a great wedge. I wedged again, and then a 2-putt for a triple, I believe. So
Okay, so we pushed the whole one.
yeah,
Pushing with triples, we love that. It's
it's
a great it's a great look for the boys.
I'm not. It's not good. This is not
Oh,
good.
man. Okay, so we both start out with a triple, so we're even going into 2. Hole 2 is a par 4, 279 yards on the scorecard. My notes for that one was it was a bad drive and then a good recovery wedge, and then just 2 putt par.
Okay. Uh, OB driver. good, good second shot. Bad chip. Uh, putt, and that was a triple. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I go up 1 after 2. Okay, moving on to hole 3. Hole 3 is the second par 5, and it was a short par 5. It was only like 382 yards. It was a pretty short par 5, but
hmm
I managed to managed to hit a not a great drive. I hit a pretty rough 3 hybrid, and then I actually hit a pretty good wedge that held the green and then 2 putted for par. So I managed to get par on the par 5, but I'll be honest, I was kinda disappointed on a 382 yard par 4
yeah,
that I didn't birdie it.
yeah. That's I. Let me see. I think that's what I did basically. Good drive. A good layup second shot because there was a tree basically blocking out the entire green. So I had a good second layup shot. A nice 52 chip, and then I chipped it to like a couple feet for par. I was so close to chipping it on that one. I was I actually
That
got
one
that
was
one on video, so I don't know if might have to
I
throw
have to
that
throw
up
that
there.
one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But, yeah, that one was just I saw that, so I don't know if you have paid attention enough to know that I have not got a birdie yet in this series.
Really? Oh no.
So that's why I was so upset about that one. I was like I looked at the distance and saw it was a par 5, and I was like, "Hey, I can finally get a birdie on our challenge this week,"
Mhm.
and then to hit it the drive wasn't, like, all that bad, it was just short. I think I kinda skyballed it a little bit, so I think it only
Mhm.
went, like, 220, and
Yeah.
then I had a distance with a 3 hybrid, and I just chunked the 3 hybrid because I never hit the 3 hybrid, so
Mhm.
I chunked that and then hit a decent iron and 2 putted, but it was just kinda one of those things that was like, you're happy with par, but a little disappointing that you couldn't
Yep.
do better on such a short par 5.
Was your flag up on the left edge there? Where
Yes,
that
where
was a
you had the
terrible pin placement. It's literally on a slope. I was like, "How is this legal? This is ridiculous."
it was absolutely insane, and that tree just blocks out the
Mhm.
entire flag, so to hit onto the green in any way there, you had to hit a super high shot that would've just sat because, yeah,
Mhm.
that slope wanted to run it off so aggressively
Yeah.
back to, like, the tree, I think. I think it was running back towards the front of the green.
Mhm. Yeah, it was running off back like to the side kind of in a way. So, like, you had to hit a low runner up there, and it just yeah, it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. That was crazy. So then moving on to hole 4, we've got a par 3, the first par 3, measuring at 137 yards. I hit a P wedge here. I didn't think I was gonna quite have enough to get it there. I wasn't hitting the P wedge quite as far this week as I was last week, so I knew that it was probably gonna come up short, and it was the perfect distance club, but I opened the face a little bit on impact, so it leaked out to the left for me, being a lefty. It, kind of faded away from me, and it landed just on the left side of the green. Was a really easy place to chip from, so I just chipped, back into the gimme range and got par on that par 3.
Nice. I hit a good shot that was pin high, but out of the give me. I hit a good putt, but it didn't go quite in. So I got a par on that one as well.
Okay. So, after hole 4, I'm still just 1 up after hole 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Going into hole 5, this was a super short par 4, 215 yards. So, this one was a little bit of, like, an interesting hole for me because I was trying to figure out what to hit because you typically don't have this, this short of par 4s, and what I should have done looking back, I should have been smarter about it, and I should have just hit, like, a 7, maybe a 6 iron, but probably a 7 iron would have been the best, and then
Mm-hmm.
just kind of laid up in front of it and tried to chip into the gimme range, but, of course, being, you know, aggressive and really wanting to win a round, I grabbed my 5 iron, was like, "I'm gonna try and hit this on the green, maybe even in the gimme and get, like, an eagle or a birdie." And I did the same thing with my 5 iron that I did with the P wedge. I opened the face just a little bit at impact and it faded. And so I was probably I don't know, it really faded left. It was in a fairway to the other hole, so I still had, I think, close to 100 yards back towards the I mean, like, I went the distance of the hole, but I went so far left that I had about 100
Mhm.
yards to get back to the
Oh
green, and I hit a P wedge, and then it landed on the green, and I two-putted for par, so I still got par, but it was just looking back at it, when you have such a short par 4, should not have been
my
trying to
mhm.
play aggressive with the 5 iron, should've just hit, a 7 iron and then had
Mhm.
a 30-yard chip that I could've easily put in for birdie.
Yeah. No, I'm I think I had a similar instance where I think I hit like a 5 iron or 4 iron, but I think I chunked it. Um, so then I just wait, was that a I wonder if I thought that was a par 3 because I have a good shot and then just missed give me distance par. So I wonder if I you know what I
Birdied that
mean?
one?
I wonder, but we're just gonna go with par. It's the same instance of whenever yours is misread. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to. Yeah, let's just say par because that one's weird. I wonder. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was a par 3 too at first because later there is a par 3 that I think that no, that was the hole that I thought was the par 3 at first too, and that's why I was really upset when I hit that the 5 iron and I looked up and saw it was a par 4, so
Hmm.
maybe that's what happened. Maybe you misthought it as a par 4 or something.
Yeah, I'm just. I don't know. I don't really trust to say. Yeah, that was a birdie. Give me a point. Like I'm not. I'm not saying that. It's a par, dude. We're going
Okay,
with par.
so we pushed that, so I'm still only 1 up after 5 holes, so going into hole 6, this was a par 4 as well, 303 yards, and I remember that I hit a super good drive. This was, like, one of the only
You hit a good drive.
holes, yeah, that I hit a good drive on
All
this
right,
one.
let's just keep it moving, bud. All right.
Yeah,
Next
hit a
hole.
good drive, good wedge, I birdied that one. First birdie of the series on that hole.
Just keep it moving.
You're just gonna take a concede on that one?
Three. I have 3 in the hazard. Concede.
That's
I,
wild.
well, because dude, that was the hole. I literally I set up. I set up and I'm like, I hit it. I like piped like a nice drive, right? Like down the middle. But then there was that water on the left and it just started leaking. I was like, no, dude, get down, get down, get down. And it just dr- d- dove in there. I was like, are you kidding me? So then I aimed way far right, slam drive down the middle, leak, hits. I'm like, are
No.
you kidding me? So then I'm like, at this point, I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I got up and bro, I like hit it off the top of the face. Like it was such a bad drive. I fully lost my like mental with the driver at that point because I'd hit 3 great drives that just went into the absolute trash. So I was like, okay.
Weird.
Well, I was like, there goes this round. But yeah, so that was a terrible hole for me. Terrible.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was one of the only, I will say my driver was like, I was hitting bad drives, but they weren't going OB because it wasn't bad as in left or right. I was catching a lot of them kind of, yeah, low. I was catching a lot of them low, so I was topping a lot of the golf balls, and I don't know why. I think it was the tee height at the simulator. I tried to get something that was similar to the tee height I was using here, but I think it was I just couldn't find that right tee height. Um, and so I think that was the main issue why my driver was topping. So I was topping it a lot, but it wasn't going out of bounds. So it was
Hmm.
annoying that my drives weren't going far, but they were still playable. So that's why my driver wasn't great, but it was still usable, and I was able to get up and down for pars on a lot of these. So yeah,
Hmm.
that one I ended up getting birdie. So I did get the first birdie of the series for myself on
Nice. Let's go.
on this course, which was nice to finally achieve after 4 rounds of golf.
That's
So that puts me 2 up going into hole 7. Hole 7 is a par 4.
you could win it
Uh,
here.
par 4 here was 231 yards, and this was another one where I kind of did the same thing I did on the last short par 4. I couldn't figure out what club to hit, so this was just absolutely dumb. I took a driver and was like, "Let me just hit it kind of soft, not a full power driver." And in doing that, I don't know, my swing just I kinda lost it and it went off the toe. So
Hmm.
it went pretty good distance, but it was just like way left, faded way left on me, and so you know, you've seen my kind of banana slice driver shots
Yeah.
before. Yeah, it was kinda one of those. So it still landed and playable, it was in the rough, but it was still playable. I hit a good chip onto the green and 2 putt for par.
So with the driver now fully lost, I think I hit a pop up like 147-yard drive, like hit the top left of my face, snapped all the way like left, bro, so bad. I hit a really good 8-iron that would literally landed on the green. I hit an 8-iron from like, I forget what it was, like 160 or something like that. Landed on the green, but because of how it was sloped, it literally ripped off of the green. And my chips just weren't, they were good, but they weren't good enough to hold the gimme distance. And it just, I couldn't, I couldn't get it quite in gimme distance. I barely missed the putt, and got bogey. It's,
Okay,
so
so
there
that
you go.
3 up, the first win of the series for me, that's
That
crazy.
seals it. That's
I finally got
crazy.
a point, so it's 3 points to 1 point. Dude, that's crazy. Going into next week with the rounds being 2 points, if I could win the next round, we're tied all of a sudden.
I know. That's ridiculous.
That
That
is
is
so cool.
crazy.
Okay, so but you get to pick the course, you get to pick the first course of the 2-point series, so that'll be kind of a little advantage you going into it.
I'm gonna
But
pick
while
a
doing
course with the flattest greens possible. That's what I'm going for here.
Yeah, I really feel like that kind of has been, kind of paying attention to these rounds, I feel like that's kind of what's been making the kind of being in your favor. I feel like big flat greens favor you, and I actually feel like more
Mhm,
difficult greens kind of favor me
mhm,
because I think your mid to long irons are so much better than mine that you can hit big greens a lot of times with them, and I still like my just irons aren't quite that good yet, so I'm missing big
mhm.
greens still, and I have to
Well,
chip
that was
regardless. So it's like if I'm chipping and I get to pick smaller greens where I'm still gonna be chipping
mhm,
anyways, it makes you have to now chip too, which is something
yeah.
you're not quite as used to doing because you've been hitting the greens so much with your irons.
That was that was the frustrating thing to me is that I was hitting the greens too. Like that was the annoying thing is like I'd hit a great shot that would land on the green and then it would have so much spin because of the slope that was on those green, it would rip off the green. I was hitting greens from like 160, 130, like between 130 and 160, I was hitting the greens. But because of how sloped they would just rip off. And I'm like, okay, all right. I think that was also kind of demoralizing too, was the fact that it's like I should have a putt for birdie right now, but now I'm scrambling for par. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was the other like kind of annoying thing that I'm like, all right, I'm hitting good shots here, but it's like I already know.
Mentally, just
Yeah.
it feels like you're not playing good even though you're actually hitting pretty decent shots, but your
Hmm.
ball just keeps ending up in hard places to still
Yeah.
score from, so it was just kind of demoralizing to be
Yep.
there, which is
Hmm.
like for me, it was the other way around. It's like, "Hey, I've been missing the greens, so I'm still trying to chip on and chip in the
Yeah.
gimme for par or chip on and two putt for par," which is what I've been
Hmm.
doing this whole series, but it's kinda like, okay, now John's at least having to do the same thing
Yeah.
too because these greens are so diabolical.
I already know. First
So
round of the second round is gonna be Sweeten Cove. All right.
no,
No,
I'm just gonna do a Google search, golf simulator courses with the tiniest and most diabolical.
please no. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. So I'm with being in college right now, I'm staying in the dorm and everything. And we have with me staying in the dorm right now, we have this whole hallway that's like the entire length of the building. And bro, this building's kind of old, so the flooring's not super level. You know what I mean? So so what I did is I set up a bunch of like me and the different guys were up hanging upstairs, just like chilling. And I pulled out my putter and I set a cup all the way at the end of the hall on the other side. It's not a huge building, but it's probably, I mean, I don't even know, like 50 feet or something like that. Probably like 40 to 50 feet. and I set up a cup on the other end of the hallway, and you literally it curved. You had to hit it like from the right side of the hallway towards the left, and it would curve back to the thing. Bro, I set up a cup all the way at the other end of the hallway, stood at my door, which is like right at the top of the stairs on the other end, and I drilled that cup. And I have people that were there that were watching. I drilled it 3 times in a row.
My word. Okay, JP Putts coming at you.
I was like, there's no way.
This is unreal. See, now that's what we need videos of to be
Yeah,
posted on this other
I
show.
know. I I
That's
know.
wild. Man, a 50-foot putt once is hard enough, man. 3 times in a row is insane. That's crazy.
Which I think one of them literally like went down, banked off the wall, and bounced right back. I was like, "Hey, we'll take it. We'll
Yeah,
take it."
there's like they say in golf, there's no videos on the scorecard, so
Exactly. Exactly.
it's in, it counts.
We're not on tour here.
That's crazy. Well, that's wild. That's pretty crazy that you're locking in the putter, man. That's gonna be if that actually is benefiting you out on the course this year, you're gonna be I mean, I feel like the
So,
putting was the one thing where especially when we scrambled, like, I feel like I clutched up the putting a lot of times, so you getting the putting dialed would be huge for your score
mhm.
this year, I'm sure.
It was weird. What I was doing is I was actually like in my room, like putting with one of my buddies. And I was noticing that if I looked at the ball, I tended to kind of pull my putter back into the right. And when I'd hit it offline. Um, so what I've been doing, and I know people don't usually recommend it, but I've been looking at the line on my putter. And instead of looking at the ball, I look at the line and make sure that line is going straight back and straight forward. Um, and I have, I have those, like the what are they called? The TaylorMade. I can't think of what they're called. The Tour Stripe ones. So it's
Okay.
those balls
You
are
can see
so
the
good.
right.
Yeah, whenever they roll end over end, it's really easy. So, and I've been hitting the putts just end over end with the. And I've actually been practicing a bunch with my chipping in my room as well. So I've been working on it, and I've actually gotten a lot better with my chips because I was struggling with my chips. Especially whenever we went on that trip down to Augusta, I was having a hard time with the chips.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit better with my chipping and putting. So I'm excited to see, when I actually get on a course, if it actually makes a difference.
I can't
But
wait to play on a course this
I
year.
know.
I have been chipping in my apartment. No, I
Nice.
don't think anybody lives underneath of us because I've tried to pay attention to see, like, if
Mm-hmm.
anybody is going in or out of that apartment, and I don't ever hear anybody down there, so I think that I'm all clear, but I will set up golf balls in my living room on our rug, and I'll try to chip them into our love seat, like, try to get enough loft in
Mm-hmm.
them, and it's a super short distance, but it's kind of if you were maybe 10, 15 feet from the green and you're trying to kind of plop it up on without a ton
Mm-hmm.
of run out, which is a super hard shot for me. Typically,
Yeah.
if I'm chipping around the green, the flag needs to be on the other end of the green because
Mm-hmm.
I can't get that loft and get it to sit nicely. So I've been trying
Yeah.
to work on that, and chipping off the rug in our living room is kinda simulates fairway a little bit. It's, like, super short, so you have to really pick the golf ball up nice and
Mm-hmm.
clean, and so I've been trying to do that, and I've gotten pretty good at it, so I don't know if it'll help at all when we get to the course, but I'm kind of excited to
Oh yeah.
see. I feel like I've learned a lot about chipping and how to get, some different shot reactions
Mm-hmm.
based off of, my swing and where you put the ball in your stance and all that, so I'm excited to
Yeah.
let's see, it's warmed up here. It was like 50
Mm-hmm.
degrees. Most all of the snow is melted except where they have some big piles and stuff. I can still see some snow out there. But it's starting to warm up and I am starting to get really excited to go play a course. I was already trying to think where I could maybe go walk 9 soon
That's awesome.
because I've got the itch to go play on a real course.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I'm like with this weather, like I'm seeing how this weather's going, and I'm just so like I don't know. I saw it was gonna be 50 like next week or something like that, and on the weekend. And dude, I cannot wait. I'm like, what are the odds? Because like the snow's gonna be melting. You know what I mean? The snow's gonna be calming down a little bit. Like, you know, you know. maybe a chance that a golf course might open a little bit, but we'll see. We
Well,
will see.
there's a course that my buddies and I have played at. It's north of us, and it's kind of just an out in the country course a little bit. And they've actually met and talked to the owner of the course, and he's super cool guy. And he's told them and kind of us before that, if we want to go out when it's kind of these winter months or something, if it's a nice day and we want to go out, that he's totally fine if we just go out and walk the course, whatever. Obviously, there's no
Mhm.
carts or anything like that, but he's asked us to take, care of the course, make sure we're putting our divots back and stuff like that. But it's
Mhm.
super cool to go, and it doesn't cost anything, but we can go out and play a few holes of golf, when it warms up a little bit. So I've been kind of keeping that in the back of the mind on these warm days. I'm like, if I get a warm day and some free time, I'm gonna go out and try and walk 9 holes pretty quick.
That's awesome. Yeah, because
So
I have a guy exactly like that that me and my buddies go to, and really this winter has not been available to get out there, but as soon as it warms up a little bit, we're definitely going to get out there. So we'll see. And that course usually honestly opens up about like around the time that um it gets a little warm. They usually are like, yeah, someone will be there. Like someone will be there for you to
sweet,
go. So and they'll usually be like, yeah, go ahead and walk. We don't care. So that
awesome.
is really nice.
Well, that's
But
super cool. Did you want to finish out the last 2 holes of the round at all, just
oh,
to give our full 9 score, or you just want to call it after that? I don't really care.
hold on. Let's see what we're looking at.
Holes 8 and 9, they're par four and par three.
We can. Um, yeah, we can.
Hole 8 was a par four, 79 yards. I don't really have a lot of notes on that. I had an okay drive, a bad wedge, and then I had a good chip into the gimme for par.
Yeah. At this point, my driver was fully dead, so I had a bad drive. Six that I was in, dude. I was in the rough, like kind of back behind a tree, and it was such a bad drive. I think I just popped it. Like I skied it, and it went maybe 100 yards or something like that. So I still had like 220 in or something like that, or like 200 in. And there was a tree in front of me, but I was like, oh, if I hit a 6 iron, it'll be low lofted enough that it'll go under this tree. It'll be fine. I hit a 6 iron and somehow it popped up like a 9 iron. I was like, okay. And it hit this tree, dropped straight down. I was like, okay. And then I had a good 8 iron. It went into this like bunker, but I hit a good 8 iron that went onto the green once again. Rolled off. Bad, uh, bad chip, good putt, bogey. So it was not
Okay.
a not a
So
great
you
hole
wait,
for me.
you said bad chip, good putt. So was that bad chip outside of gimme, and then you actually nailed a putt into the, outside of 15 feet?
We got to be honest. I have no clue. I was.
Okay.
I think at this point I was so mentally chalked that I was just like, ah, right. I
Yeah.
didn't even care. I just remember looking up, seeing bogey on the screen, and being like, okay, that's
Being like, "Cool. Love
cool.
that."
Oh my word.
For the last hole, hole 9, it was a super short par 3. This
This
one was kinda funny. It was
this whole
107 yards, and I hadn't hit a 52 degree all day, so I was kind of nervous to pull that, and I was like, "You know what? 110 yards." I was like, "Let me just hit a P wedge soft." Accidentally grabbed a 9 iron. So I hit a 9 iron. Though thankfully I still was planning to hit the P wedge soft, so I hit my 9 iron soft enough that it didn't go, like, way over the green, but I hit an okay chip back on, and then I think I actually hit a good chip into the gimme because I got par, so,
nice.
yeah. Somehow managed to clean up a 9 iron from 107 yards.
I've been listening to these yardages, and I definitely played from the next tee box.
Really?
Yeah, I 100% did. Because I think the whites, what happened is I got on there and I didn't really check the tee boxes, but then I got on and I was like, oh, I'm at the whites. All right. And I didn't pay attention, but I think the whites there are like, I don't know. I don't know what it is because I'm guessing I played like the blues. Not the, I didn't play the tips. I know I didn't play the tips. So that's why I was like, oh, I'll be fine. So I wonder if I played the blues because
Yeah,
mine was
because
like 140 on this
the
shot.
the whites were the first tee box. You shouldn't have really seen any tee boxes in front of you because the reds were, like, always way like, starting up in the fairway, and then it was, like, whites, blues, and blacks, like,
So
those 3 tee
I
boxes.
must have played
So
the
it
blues
should have
then.
looked like you were on the front tees because I kind of thought the same thing when I started up the round, there was no tee boxes in front of me, and then, like,
Mm-hmm.
I paused it and looked, and it said that I was playing the white tees, and I looked on the like, on the actual simulator, and it showed the white tee colors on my tee box. So I
So
was
we
like, "Okay, I
maybe we're
am playing
playing
the
the
white
same
tees."
because
But
this was from 107. I hit a 9 iron, and I know that I don't hit a 9 iron that long. I would definitely would hit a P wedge. So because I've been listening to these yardages, and dude, I know you would have won this round no matter what. I don't care. Like I'm not stressing over it because I played such a bad round. I don't care. But I
but
was
you
listening to
definitely
these yardages, and I was like,
had a few extra yards
hold
on some of
on,
those holes.
yes, yeah. Like a couple of the shots, you're like, oh yeah, I hit a P wedge, and I'd be like, I was hitting like a 9 or an 8. Wait, what? So I was like, I was a little bit confused, but yeah, that must have been. But I don't think it mattered because I was playing so poorly. Like getting 2 triples right off the first 2 holes, I don't think would have, you know, 10 yards would have made that much of a difference for getting two
Yeah.
triples. But uh, because what happened with this hole is I hit a great 9 iron from like 140, but once again, I hit it onto the green, but it ripped off the front because of the slope. Ticked me off, bro. At that point, I was so frustrated. I was so annoyed. I was like, so I hit a good flop. Like I was like, okay, well I gotta for how the green was. I was like, I have to flop it and get
Mhm.
it up high enough that it'll sit and then just roll down to the pin. I had to like I should have just hit a bump and run and hit it up and let
Mhm.
it kind of curve down around. But I was like, if I hit a flop, it'll hold the green, it'll be fine. Whereas the bump and run, you're kind of guessing on whether or not it'll hold the green. So I went to hit the flop and I hit it and I was like, "Oh, that's way too pure." Like I caught it so pure on the flop and it went over the green. It was
No.
it was like an easy place to chip from. Too. That was the sad thing. It was like it wasn't that hard, but I knew I caught it too pure when I hit it. I was like so I just did it a little too pure and it flopped over to the back and into a bunker. So then I hit a great bunker shot that was like high. Like I hit a high bunker shot and it said that I basically like sculled it across. So it was a little bit of a mystery, I think.
Yeah.
But it said that I basically like sculled it and it like rolled over to the side. It like rolled just out, just barely out of give me distance. And then I had to 2 putt and it was a double. So it's just
Okay. Man, that's too bad. Yeah, I would say if you were hitting a 9 iron on that hole, you were definitely playing, uh, slightly longer on some of those holes than I was, unless you played, like, the white tees and they just if I had a different version of the course or something on the simulator
yeah.
because I wasn't playing a TrackMan, they used GS Pro software at the
Hmm.
simulator I was at, so I don't know if it
Yeah.
was this discrepancy in the simulators or what it was, but yeah, I definitely didn't have 140 yards on that hole, so there's definitely a little extra length there, but
I
that's
don't
too bad.
think. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, that's. I feel like it's the same thing as last time where you're playing a way. You played a way longer course, I think, than I did last time.
At a
So
220-yard par
yeah,
3 on one of
yeah,
my holes.
yeah. So I don't think that. I'm like I don't. There's really no. You know what I
It's
mean?
not
I'm like
perfect. We're never gonna have a perfectly even
mhm,
round unless we're together in person and play the same course,
yes, yeah. So
which
that's
we
not.
will be making happen hopefully soon. I was thinking about this yesterday, dude. I was playing the simulator at a golf course, and I'm pretty sure people were out walking the golf course while I was playing, and I was just thinking, I was like, "Man," I was like, "Gotta get together soon and play around." Like, if we meet up in Dayton or something sometime and we can just get
Yeah.
the 3 of us to maybe, Brock to tag along and we just all go out and play around or something would be huge.
Whew.
Gotta make it happen.
Do we? I. All right. That's no shots fired on the episode.
So maybe the 2 of us can get together, lock in, and play.
Brock, if you listen to this episode, I'm so sorry. Brock is my brother. I get to make fun of him. Anybody else makes fun of him, I'm like, watch your mouth. But I get to rag on him because he's my brother.
If Brock makes it 40 minutes into the episode to hear that, he can shoot some shots back at you.
Exactly. Just don't clip this, please.
Yeah. Posted that on the reels and the TikToks. Oh,
Oh my
no.
word.
Yeah,
That's
we gotta
hilarious.
make it happen. As soon as all the snow's melted and the courses are open that we can find to play, we're meeting up sometime on, even if we just take a Saturday, because it's not that
Oh,
far
yeah.
of a drive for either of us, I wouldn't think, to
No, I
meet
don't
up
think so.
in
It's
between.
not bad at all, honestly. And I've been wanting to get me and Brock have been wanting to get together, for a while now. So if I can find a weekend, because he was saying that I should just come down there. We just have like a study session, even though, with him being in school and everything, me being in school,
Mhm.
like we just go down there and do some study sessions. And if he wanted to come over, I don't know if he'd go golfing with us just because he is so busy right now. But if not, just the two of us could go. It'd be fun. So
Yeah.
I have to make that happen.
We're definitely gonna make it happen. We'll have to talk more and see when we can find a good weekend to line it all up, but I think
Yeah,
that's all I got for today's episode. You got anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Alright, boss. Well, just shoot me a text when you got a course picked out. Next episode, we will be playing for 2 points out of the round, and, yeah, we will get back together next time.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Alright, boss. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.